Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about 5 most important questions which are asked very frequently about credit risk. Okay. So the number one question, if you see here, is about handling risk loan requests from the important clients. Now the question is, a long term and valuable client has applied for a loan. Okay, but your risk analysis indicates that there is a possibility in the repayment behavior and there are challenges. Okay, so what step would you take in that scenario? So this is a very common question which is asked in all the interviews. Now what is your answer on this? So your answer should revolve around these points. I prepared all these points. So now review the analysis objective to validate the risk indicator, whether the risk is indicated properly or not for that particular customer, because that is a valuable customer to the client, to the bank, right? So you cannot reject his overall demeanor from the bank side because he is already a long term customer, right? So you cannot spoil that relationship. Then arrange a transparent discussion with the client to understand their current financial stress, that what is the current situation of that particular client and how much stress it will put on the client if we give some extra loan to that particular person. Okay, then offer alternative financing option with tighten, okay, tighten convenient on collateral requirement. You should let them know there is a collateral should be involved in the process. So here basically you are trying to tell your customer that obviously if the customer is risky, so there should be some collateral, so that if the customer defaults, so you should be able to sell that collateral and you should be able to recover the money. Then recommend partial disbursement or shorter tenure if the full loan is too risky. That is very important, because if the loan is fully disbursed, then full money is on risk, which you cannot take a chance on. Then keep internal stakeholders informed, document all the steps for audit clarity, because audit is very important. So sometime what will happen, if you are giving a loan to the long term customer, so there can be any bribe involved, that can be the doubt from the audit teams. So you should always make everything very much crystal clear. In bank, the audit is the biggest problem. If audit is not clearing your transaction, then you are gone, you are in a big mess, and the reputation of the bank is always gone. So if this question is asked to you in the interview, you should try to touch upon these 4 to 5 pointers which are very important for such kind of scenario. Let's move forward for the question number 2. So if somebody is asking you to basically manage a multiple urgent request for you, so in that case how you'll do that? So let's put the question in this way. If you face three pressing tasks, from the legacy client needing loan approval, another from the sales team for a potential high revenue deal, and the third one from the senior leadership regarding an investment prospect. Okay, so how do you decide order of your action? So the simple answer is going to be that the sales team request will be number one, because that is the revenue generating thing. Okay, and in bank you remember that everything is all about profit. If you are able to make a profit for the bank, then you are the most valuable employee for the bank. Now revenue generating opportunities with the future business potentially take precedence always. Then second is senior management, because investment decision can influence strategy direction, ensure timely input for them. Okay, then third is existing client loan. While it's very important, because you need to make sure that the reputation you made with the client should be there. Okay, but legacy cases can follow after high impact of new opportunities. So your priority should be number one, the new potential customer who can generate a lot of revenue, because sales team is pitching about that. Then the order from your boss, and then your client. Okay, communicate your plan to all the parties so that they can manage the expectation within the group. There should be no miscommunication between you as a credit risk analysis, and from your side there should be clear communication to your leadership, whether those are your partners, whether those are your vice presidents in your company. So that should be pretty much clear. Let's talk about question number 3. So it's about explaining financials, okay, to non-finance team, because when as a credit risk analyst you will be working with multiple team. Now How would you explain complex financial data to management members who may not be financially inclined? This is a very common scenario because you are part of a team where everybody doesn't know coding, where everybody doesn't know financial numbers, where everybody does not know those terminology which are getting used in your team, let's say. So how you'll handle that? Use visuals like charts, trends, and ratio using Tableau or Power BI, or try to use all these such tools which are very much hot in the market. Okay, then focus on key takeaways like profitability, risk, and red flags, because everybody know these words, right? So you should try to make your conversation general, so all these leaders should be able to grasp what you are trying to convey. Then try to avoid these jargons. Like for example, you use some in-house terminology in terms of global client. You should not do that. Translate terms like liquidity crunch or cash shortages, because you need to explain to non-technical people that what do you mean by that. That will make things tough for you only. So you should not be doing that. Try to make your conversation as simple as you can, as generic as you can. If in that meeting some people are curious to ask technical question, you should handle them separately. Okay, then tell the story behind the number. Example, let's say sales dropped 20% due to delayed payment from the major customer. This is one of the example, very layman language, anybody can understand. Person with 1 years of experience also can understand, 10 years of experience also will understand. The question quality of 10 year, obviously a person who's having 10 years of experience, that person will always try to drill down, so you answer them in their way in separate call. But in a bigger forum where non-technical people are there, your leaders are there, try to make generic statement which everybody should be able to relate. Okay, that should be your answer. Now fourth question is being proactive during global crisis. That was a case in 2008, for example. The question is, given recent global disruption like pandemic or any geopolitical tension, how would you showcase proactive thinking in managing credit risk for the bank? Now, as an analyst, so first thing you will say, develop early warning indicator for the sector prone to the crisis. Number one, stress test portfolio using different macroeconomic shock scenarios. What is stress test? Putting your assets into adverse scenario, just assuming, create those things in coding that what could be the possibility if, let's say, suddenly COVID happens. Let's say there is a war between Russia and Ukraine happening, India Pakistan war is happening, so how this will change the macroeconomic factor. You should try to do that using stress testing. Then suggest dynamic updates to probability of default and loss given by the default model. Then monitor news data. Okay, you should be having a clear picture on the financial aspects in the news data. As a credit risk analyst, you should know all that. Then recommend temporary changes in lending criteria. Obviously, if you are a decision maker, you should do that. So it's clear, right? This is very important question which is asked in many companies interview, EY, Deloitte, Standard Chartered, Wells Fargo. Many of the senior interview folks, they ask such questions. Okay. Now the last question for today is going to be, what are the 5C of credit? So if you're from credit risk background, you should know character of the customer. These are all related to the customer you are giving the loan or you're giving the credit card. So character of the customer, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Now what are they? Character talks about assess borrower credit history using bureau data and the reputation. Capacity, what is the cash flow capacity, how much salary they have, how much monthly income they have, all those things. Then review cash flows, how much salary is coming. Then debt service coverage ratio, like how much debt they have on them and how much income they have, income stability, let's say private sector job or government sector job. Then capital, look at the borrower net worth, like savings account they have or all the money they have, FDs all they have, so you should examine that. Then collateral, eventually security offered against the loan, let's say house loan they are taking, so a house you can sell, you can recover the money. And then conditions, analyze external factor like industry trend, economic climate. So these are some very important questions from the credit risk interview perspective. Now, if you hit the like button, that really motivates me. If you like the video, you should do that. And please share this particular video with your friends, your colleagues, all of those members who want to learn, want to crack credit risk interviews. So I prepared this content after thinking those questions which are asked to me also. Some of these questions were asked to me, so I noted that in my diary. Today I am sharing it with all of you. I hope you like the content. Now, on that note, I would like to take leave from all of you. All the best, everybody, and I hope all of you get a very good job. Thank you so much.